Sit down if you like. And I was mowing the lawn. My wife and I live in a small little town outside of Nashville called Columbia, Tennessee, and we have a relatively large area to mow, and I love to mow the lawn, so it works out in my favor. It's fantastic. And I was mowing the lawn, and I was coming up this hill. We have onto the right side of my house. We have a hill that comes up, and I have to mow it on an angle just to be able to mow it, or else I'll slide off the hill. And my wife comes running out the house. And I thought that was quite odd. Why is my wife running outside the house? And she was frantically trying to get my attention. So I cut off the engine and put the brake on and take off my headphones. And she says the words that no parent ever wants to hear. And she says, "Luke, it's Leo, our 8-week-old little baby. He's not breathing." And at that point, I kind of dropped everything and I ran inside and I picked up 911, picked up my phone, called 911. As I come back outside, I'm telling him my address, I'm telling him all the different things that are going on. And I look down and I see my little boy, little Leo, 8 weeks old, blue, totally limp, not breathing. He's got blood coming out of his nose. And I'm explaining to this guy on 911, "Hey, this is what we're seeing." Obviously, we were very, very frantic, and my mind was just racing. It was very, very difficult for me to even to get the words out to think clearly. And I looked down at him, and I was convinced that this little boy was dead. But my wife started praying these amazing prayers, and she was like, "In the name of Jesus, you bring back my boy. In the name of Jesus, put air into this boy's lungs." And as soon, about 10 seconds later, our little boy starts to go, yes. And I told the guy, I said, I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back. He said, "Hold tight, ambulance is just about there." An ambulance arrives. They whisk my wife and my little boy off. They take him to the hospital. And about an hour later, I'm on the way to meet my little boy at Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville. He's in the children's ER in the critical area. And on the way there, I was unsure as to what I was going to find, because I didn't know how long my little boy had been breathing for. I wasn't quite sure if he had oxygen for very long for his brain. I didn't know if he was going to be slightly brain dead. And so as any father, I wanted to get in there and I wanted to see with my own eyes, is my little boy okay? Is he going to be fine? So I get into this little room. It's frantic in these ERs. There's just chaos everywhere. And I get in there and I look at my little boy and I said, "Leo, is your daddy here? You okay?" And he's 8 weeks old, so he can't talk yet. We're hoping in a week or two. Just kidding. And he looks at me, and he smiles. And it was in that moment that I felt like it was simply the grace of God saying, "Your little boy, he's gonna be okay." Yeah. A few days later, my sister called me. And she said, "Look, you've been through some interesting challenges in your life. You've had some health issues, you've had all sorts of career things, you've had different things happen in your life. How do you handle this one?" And that had taken me kind of by surprise. Because obviously as we come home, there was a lot of fear of, is he going to stop breathing again? There was all these types of things floating on as parents in our heads. And I thought about it for a second. I said, "Beck, every time I've had something very difficult happen in my life, I have never not seen the faithfulness and the grace of God." And I said, "It's easy for me to be fearful of the future, but I know that that's what I will encounter once again." And there was a time in those coming days, those days where I was quite concerned for my boy, and I had to ask myself, what if he did pass away? Would there still be grace in that? And I cling on to this hope, this promise, that His grace is all we need. His power is made perfect in our weakness.